You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Welcome, listeners, to another episode of All Good Things, a Star Trek Universe podcast here on BQN and the Fandom Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mark, and Kristin's with me today. Hello.
Hello. They've left us to our own devices today.
We're not at STLV like the cool kids.
The FOMO is so real right now.
Whoops. Hi, Amy.
She's here with us in spirit.
She sure is. They all are. Yeah. Yeah, I've been seeing all the photos coming through from STLV. This is the first year I'm not there, and we've been there, Andy and I, the last 3 years. Have you been, Kristin?
I've never been.
Oh my God, you gotta go next year, and then we can all go.
Yeah, next year might even be harder because we're doing like Spain with the crew in July.
Ooh.
And we're still hoping to make the cruise happen next year. So I don't know if the bank account will also allow for Vegas in August.
You will win the lottery, and the Ferengi gods will smile on you, and you'll have plenty of platinum.
Let's bring that platinum on. You know what, Mark? I love putting that sort of affirmation out into the world.
Put it out there.
If that happens, I'll pay for you to come with, because obviously then it would have been because you did it. You did. Okay.
We're manifesting.
We are.
All right, listeners. Well, now it's time for All Good World.
From Las Vegas to Boston, USA to Canada and South America, from the United Kingdom to South Africa, from Russia to Australia, the South Pacific and beyond. This is All Good World.
Each episode, we highlight a different location around the globe where this podcast has reached. And this week, we would love to highlight our friends listening in the Netherlands. Also, Calvin is there? I don't know. I think he is there probably right now, isn't he?
Probably. I'm hoping that he is nursing one heck of a hangover because he's been so and really enjoying.
Well, I just learned that Netherlands literally means lower countries. I had no idea what that meant, but great. In reference to the low elevation and the flat topography, with 26% of the country situated below sea level. Wow. Most of the areas below sea level are known as polders. I'm never good at pronunciations, so sorry. They are a result of land reclamation that began in the 14th century. That's incredible. During the Republican period, which began in 1588, the Netherlands entered a unique era of political, economic, and cultural greatness, ranked among the most powerful and influential in Europe and the world. This period is also known as the Dutch Golden Age. During this time, its trading companies, Dutch East India Company and Dutch West India Company, established colonies and trading posts all over the world.
One of which I'm assuming is Curacao, because Curacao was one of the stops on the Star Trek cruise last year, and that was a Dutch Caribbean settlement.
Wow.
So you could really see... Sorry, you could really see the similarities in their architecture, because I've been to Amsterdam before, and everything is just beautiful, colorful homes. Like the architecture is just breathtaking, and you could see that influence in Curacao.
Wow, I love that. Also, I live in very close proximity to Salem, Massachusetts, and there's still a Dutch East India Company building that has survived from colonial period. They still have the sign up, although I think it might be a Starbucks. I'm not sure.
Chances are it is. Let's be honest.
Chances are.
I will actually never forget one of the most beautiful places we went in Amsterdam when we were walking around was a Starbucks, and it was just stunning. We went inside and they hadn't, modernized it. So there was just wood paneling and like not the tacky 70 wood paneling, like
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh.
I remember going in there thinking, wow, all Starbucks should look like this, but
Absolutely. Yeah, I've been as well. Went a few years back, which is 2019. But checked out a few museums there, and just like you were saying, just the architecture there, the culture. I loved like all of the canals. It was so picturesque.
It was. Did you do a canal tour, like on the boat?
I paid for the whole trip, so we were kind of on a super budget. We did a lot of like very inexpensive things. Saved our money for the cocktails. Well,
Fair.
And in Amsterdam, the pot.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm from Canada, so for us it's not a big deal. But when we went, it was what I couldn't get enough of were, I think they're called poffertures or something. Those tiny little puffy pancakes that they then cover with strawberries and powdered sugar. Oh my gosh. Oh,
so good.
So good. But then everywhere you walk everywhere. So eat as many carbs as you want because,
we're walking it off.
Style.
And it's soaking up the alcohol.
And there you go.
Well, listeners, hopefully, hopefully watching this week's episode, you did not get so scared that you lost your pancakes. We are covering this week our Fear Factor series. This is part 5, and we are covering Voyager's The Haunting of Deck 12. So this episode, if you haven't watched already, the synopsis says, while the USS Voyager is without power for several hours, Neelix tells the children a ghost story of the events that led up to it. Or is it more than just a story? ...
Dun, dun, dun.
So I gotta ask, Kristin, what was your initial thought when you turned this on?
It's just, I mean, it is what it is, right? It's a cute little filler. It's a filler episode. It's whatever. It's cute. I don't hate it. I didn't hate it.
Okay.
I mean, I think the premise is actually kind of clever because they're trying to quell the children's fears when actually he's divulging the truth to them. And so, as someone who, I'm not a parent myself, but seeing how some of my parent friends have navigated truth and telling hard things to their kids, I thought this was a clever way of sort of addressing that kind of situation.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
Absolutely. Well, Calvin's going to have a fun time editing this one, but God damn it. A children episode. It starts with Neelix and kids, and I'm like, what is happening? What did they leave us with? Like, literally, they should know better. The team should have known. Oh, well. But that was my initial reaction, to be honest. But, we get into the nuts and bolts of the episode. And I have to say that, I think that, like you, I think there's some moments that sort of lift it up and transcend my initial, disgust at a Neelix children episode. There's a lot of good moments in this. I think, I'll get into it in Assimilations and Regenerations, but I definitely feel like there's a lot of positives to this episode. I love the storytelling and some of the approaches, some of the choices that were made in this one.
Yeah.
I think help elevate it beyond my initial cringe. So that's my initial thought on that one.
And I'm very much along those lines with you. And plus, I mean, if we're talking about the most not acceptable, but maybe the most non-annoying kids, they're the bored kids.
Yeah, at least it's the Borg kids. At least it's
At
not.
least it's the
I don't know.
I did find it weird that like all the power was shut off. Did they not bring Naomi Wildman into this storytelling on purpose? Was she just left on her own, or what?
Yeah, she's not
So,
allowed to interact with those kids. It'd be a bad influence. They might try to assimilate her.
they might. They might.
Her mom doesn't let her play with the Borg children.
When the writers remember that her mom technically is still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. This episode was a campfire story, clearly. And I wanted to ask, do you have memories of telling ghost stories by fire? If you don't, this is going to be a very quick question.
So not really. Again, I don't
Uh-oh.
want to sound like a broken record, but growing up in the church, we didn't really tell ghost stories because they were evil. And then one week
You guys would read the book of Revelations.
I mean,
No?
the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Hello. All children
There
in the
you go.
church are ever told are scary ghost stories. But I remember one time I was a youth leader and we did this weekend camp trip away. And the kids asked for a story. So I told a ghost story. Oh, the guy, like the big pastor in charge, stopped me partway through. He's like, "This is too scary."
Wow.
I know.
You don't remember what it was?
I don't remember what. I was kind of just making it up as I went along. And I guess there was one point where I screamed to mimic what was happening in the story. And that's where it ended. That's where it ended.
You were the cool, like, chaperone.
Maybe. Or maybe some of those kids had to go to therapy after that. I don't know. How about yourself, being close to Salem?
Well, I grew up in northern Maine, actually. But I grew up in the middle of the woods. So yeah, there was frequent ghost stories. It was a tradition in my family, and like we had books on them, and they were already always readily available. So when we would go camping, my father would pick one sort of at random. There were some that actually my brother and I requested multiple times that were just like super freaky or scary. Usually it was like nautical ones, like about like ghost ships and stuff like that. We love those kind of stories. Yeah.
That's a good Ghost Ship is actually a really good movie.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I liked Ghost Ship. It came out a few years after Titanic. If you haven't seen it, listeners, this 1950s cruise liner, was it 50s, right? Yeah. What was it called? The ship?
Oh, I don't remember. The thing for me is that infamous opening scene where everyone kind of gets.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Well, yeah, people were getting chopped in half. People were getting poisoned. There was all kinds of things happening there. Yeah, I think what the cook was poisoning everybody. There's a lot of different things happening at the opening. But yeah, they start off on this the Andrea Doria, I think it was called. Anyway, whatever. So yeah, this beautiful cruise ship that's pristine and gorgeous with all these affluent people, like the Titanic kind of thing, but in the 50s, is setting sail, and you just see everybody enjoying their time and having luxurious dinners and whatnot. And then quickly you start seeing that, okay, things are afoot and people are dying left and right. And, and then like fast forward, the ship is sort of adrift and has been lost at sea for quite some time and is being discovered. And it's definitely bone chilling. It was early aughts that movie came out.
Yes, it was 2002. I'm just seeing.
See? I know my movie.
Yes. Excellent. Directed by Steve Beck. I have no idea who that is. It did quite well at the box office. It made back 3 times the amount that they spent on it.
Ooh.
Yes. And
Who starred in it?
Who starred in it, indeed?
The woman's famous. I recognized her.
The woman's famous. It was filmed in partially in Queensland, Australia, and my backyard, Vancouver, British Columbia.
Wow.
Look at that. Look at that. But I enjoy the nautical trope as well, and sirens and mermaids, but like when mermaids kind of fight back, for lack of a better term. I'm not recognizing
evil mermaids.
Evil mermaids, yes. This had well, here's the tie to Star Trek. Carl Urban, Bones himself, was in this movie.
Really?
There we go.
Yay.
And then I'm not recognizing any of these people, except Isaiah Washington also was in this movie. And anyone
who's the woman that was the Juliana Margulies, right?
Yeah, I don't know who she is.
Oh my God, she's been in everything. She's great.
Okay.
Very long film career. You've seen her. Trust me.
She was on Snakes on a Plane. So.
Of course. See?
So her filmography is very apropos.
I love Juliana Margulies. Anyway, she was badass in this movie. And if you want to watch more films or learn about more films, check out Cinema Z. It's also on this network, and I host that.
Perfect segue.
Okay. Well, bringing it back to Trek a little bit, at many points in this episode, each crew member has to face varying dangers. So, which moment or moments stood out for you or surprised you?
None. Nothing here really seems that scary.
Are you kidding me? Really?
No. There were no spiders, so I'm good.
Okay.
So
this is going to be a quick discussion.
It's something. What's that scene where it's actually from Deep Space Nine, where O'Brien is talking and he talks about when he had to crawl through that tube and it was full of the spiders with their legs that are 2 meters. Their legs are 2 meters long. Yeah. And that scene, that one sentence was more horrifying than this entire episode for me.
Wow. Because
I can't with spiders. But nothing that really happened here was really that bad, except when Janeway loses her coffee. Is that's this episode? I've been watching a lot of Voyager, so I might be getting it mixed up, where like the coffee appears and then disappears and then the mug shows up. I think that was this episode. I don't know.
Well, maybe. I don't know. That didn't particularly stand out for me, but it could have happened. We'll go with it.
That would be the scariest thing that happened, is the loss of coffee.
As Kristin sips her coffee out of a TNG mug.
From her universe.
For me, there was actually a moment of levity followed by dread, and I think that's what stood out for me. It was they were trying to make it a little bit scary for 7 of 9's character, as the nebula cloud is going into the where is she? She's at the shuttle bay or something. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. And she's trying to figure out a way out of there, and the cloud's starting to fill up the room, and she just walks over casually to this panel, opens it up, flicks a switch, and the door's open, and she just walks out. So to me, it was like, okay, they're trying to scare us, but then she just casually walks out. So that was funny. I had a moment of chuckle, but then, she's stuck there because of the force fields. And so then it's actually a moment of dread, and it surprised me. And I was a little bit like, oh crap, like what's going to happen to 7? And then the electricity shoots her, like, is it cortical node or something on her face, and shorts that out, and she falls over, and I'm like, oh, what's happening to 7? So that was a moment that stood out as far as like a little bit of scary. And then there was like that moment where it was Neelix and Tuvok, and they're in the Jeffries tubes, and then there was that whole like was it Star Trek Wrath of Khan kind of moment there between the two of them, where it's almost like you have always been my friend or whatever. It wasn't that, but it was like that kind of moment. You expected Tuvok to reach his hand up and touch Neelix or something, because they're both there together, and Neelix is gonna, die essentially. And not Neelix, sorry, Tuvok was gonna die, and Neelix is like, no, not on my watch, I've got you. And he's gonna like, they're both gonna share the little ventilator thing, which I thought was so like 90s props. It's like they just literally bought one of the things from the airplane and like put that on their face. It was like, okay, this is high tech, but you're like, no, that's literally what falls out of a plane. So
yeah, only yeah. Actually, I'm gonna go back. The scariest scene for me was right at the very, very beginning of the show, when the kids wake up and there's Neelix's face illuminated by light in the pitch black.
No.
So
I'll have nightmares about that.
A few weeks back, Justin was at a band practice and he didn't have his key to get back in the house. So it's late at night. It must have been like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I'm in bed. I've taken my sleep aids, aka my nighttime gummies. So I am floating. Yes. So I'm floating in the nether regions, just sort of enjoying the whatever. And all of a sudden I'm hearing this knocking. And I'm looking around my room like, what the heck is going on? And all of a sudden I just hear this bang on my window. And I go and I open the curtains. And Justin is holding his phone under his face like this, like right under his
goodness.
chin. Pitch black except his illuminated face. And I thought I was getting ready to run into my office and grab my bat left, because I literally thought someone was going to break into my house. Until I realized, okay, I know this guy. So when I saw that scene, I did chuckle because it did bring me back to that very hilarious moment.
I also got to give props to the director of the episode. There were some aesthetic choices that were made in this. I think there was music choices as well. The music I thought was menacing. I think the orchestration did a really good job. And also I liked the doors. We've seen this before in pretty much every scary episode we've done so far. There's been the doors. The doors open, they close, they open, they close. But usually it's slow. This was like open, close, open, close, open, close. And I think it being that fast motion rather than the slow, like
yeah.
Rather than that, I feel like it was actually more scary this time. I felt like they did the creepy door thing better in this episode. Yeah.
Also,
kudos.
Following up to that as well is the lighting was really well done. It had this weird sort of, I don't know what they did, but it really set the tone that there was something afoot on the ship. Yeah.
The darks were really dark, and the light was just sort of, you were almost searching for it. And I think some of the newer Trek, they play around with it a little bit, but this was a particularly good episode for that, where they weren't afraid to go really dark with it. Where in the past they'd have sort of mood lighting in the back, so to make sure that all the actors are seen clearly. Here they didn't. They sort of threw that aside, and they're like, no, this is a scary episode. We're going to have it really dark.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed the aesthetics of this episode for sure.
Well, I have a bonus topic here.
Yes.
Brought to you by Cinema Z, also on this network. We'll see how many times I can plug my show. Uh, so I want to talk to you about outside of Trek. What are some other great sci-fi films or shows that listeners of this pod should check out for a good scare?
Anything by Wes Craven.
Oh, that's right. You're a big fan of the horror genre.
I am.
Correct? Yes.
I am a big fan of the horror genre. Just last night, speaking of Wes Craven, which is why he's top of mind, I rewatched The People Under the Stairs. And it is just as spooky as I remember watching it as a child. I don't know why I was allowed to watch it as a child, but here we are. It was very spooky. I wanted to really rewatch it because it has been announced that it's being remade. And they better do this movie justice, because the actors that they got for this were the one that just plays they just call them man and woman, are horrifyingly creepy because they've got that 1950s suburban family vibe that they're giving off, even though they're technically brother and sister. Which is always like, sure. And they're on their search to try to find the perfect kids. And when they don't turn out how they want them to, they essentially stick them under the stairs. So it is, it's a very creative premise. It was written by Wes Craven when he actually saw a news article with the same kind of idea. So that these two foster parents were found having greatly abusing the foster children in their care. So he wrote this movie, and it's so good. It's so good. So I highly recommend People Under the Stairs.
Well, we had a very large amount of scary films we did last year on Cinema Z. And you talking about that movie reminded me of when we covered Evil Dead, the new Evil Dead movie. There was like this, I think they were brother sister also in this movie, but I didn't quite get that they were brother and sister at the beginning. I thought they were like a couple. And so I got really confused at the beginning of the movie. I'm like, wait, aren't they? And I think, it just seemed like, it seemed like they were brothers. It seemed like they were a couple at the beginning, but they ended up being brother and sister. It was just a weird choice. Yeah, the girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't it her brother that she was there in the cabin with? Anyway. We had a discussion about that on the episode. But for our listeners that like sci-fi specifically, we did also cover Jordan Peele's Nope. And Nope was very surprising. There was so much about that film that was unexpected, and it's always thrilling to see that, because I feel like it's easy for filmmakers to, be formulaic with their approach. And you see a lot of repetition sometimes in cinema, with like, okay, this is going to happen and this is going to happen, But with Nope, it was really quite out there, and I enjoyed that. If you guys don't know the premise, it's like this alien entity is coming down and sort of killing people in this small town in rural America through various means. And it's like this predominantly African American cast. So it's interesting as like a cowboy film, but also a sci-fi film, also a horror film. There's a lot going on, but totally. I don't know what I gave it, but probably 5 stars. Because remembering it, I'm like, okay, that was definitely a good film to check out.
And then, of course, going back, like, we want to talk about some of the best, if not the best, sci-fi horror epic out there is the Alien series. Everything with Sigourney Weaver, essentially a woman and her cat surviving everybody else. I mean, what's there not to love? She warns them of the importance of quarantine and, you know, making sure, you know, she was trying to follow proper protocol and everything. And everyone's like, no, I'm good. And they were not good. They were not good at all. So that is one of my favorite sci-fi horror anthologies, is The Alien. I
truly believe that single cat ladies can change the world.
You know what? Amen to that. Amen to that. And
also, Alien is it's another one of those very that's why there's so many films. It was so groundbreaking because before Alien, there was everything before Alien that was, I think, when it came to sci-fi, a little bit more on the camp side, and, you know, not really like serious. And the genre, usually it was like aliens land and there's ray guns and whatever, but it's a little bit like Mars Attacks, a little spoofy. But when you had Alien, there was some genuine dread there and some unexpected things. And then the look of the alien. I mean, it wasn't like, you know, on Trek, there's a lot of nose ridges. No, this is like
an alien.
It believably looked like an alien.
Yeah. The xenomorph was just so well designed. The head and then the little head coming out of the mouth on the tongue. And oh my gosh, the scene where she's there and it's like so good. And then I'll be sitting there watching it with my cat and how easily she puts the cat in the cat carrier. And I'm like, see, when I'm trying to put you in your cat carrier, it's because I'm trying to keep you safe. See that cat? He just went in his carrier.
Yeah, you do not want aliens busting out of your chest.
No.
Kitty,
no.
So you get in that carrier.
That would be a very tiny alien, though.
Well, they get bigger.
They do get bigger. Oh. Now I have a lot of movies I need to go watch.
It did remind me a little bit like speaking of Alien, but so Alien and Predator were both, I think, influences of the Strange New Worlds episode that we previously covered here, For All Those Who Wander. I think that launched the series, actually. And that was scary.
It did. It was very well done. Very, very well done.
Well, bring it back to Trek. I would like to know if you have any assimilations or regenerations for this week's episode.
My main assimilation was that Captain Janeway did not jump to the conclusion, or did not jump to conclusions that the actions of this alien were automatically those of malice. Instead, she tried to open a dialogue. She tried to understand things from their point of view. And I think that was actually one of the most important moments of this episode, because I think it's something a lot of us could learn, where don't assume ignorant, or don't assume malice where ignorance could be the explanation, right? So this alien did not know what was going on, did not know how they got stuck here. They're feeling probably quite scared themselves. And so they're trying their best to communicate. And so I thought that was just an absolutely brilliant part of this episode, and something that we can actually take into our everyday lives. When you get cut off in traffic, when somebody bumps into you and huffs off in the grocery store or whatever, don't assume that those are being done out of malice, because everyone has super complicated lives and we don't know what everybody's going through. And so sometimes just giving them the benefit of the doubt, and, you know, if need be, opening a line of communication that is just, I think that's just been something that's lost with us today. So I thought that was a very brilliant point.
Yeah, and that's like the most Star Trek-y thing about, you know, the episode. It's like it's the great lesson here. This episode is, you know, that just because you don't like understand someone or someone's reasoning behind something doesn't mean there's malice behind it, and you need to approach the situation with an open heart and understanding.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I also I have to, give kudos to the props department here. I loved that they used obvious dog food containers for containers in the cargo bay. I literally have one in my closet that looks exactly like some of those smaller containers in the cargo bay. I was like, oh, that's like Murphy's dog food container. It's like the same exact thing. So,
you know what? Sometimes
I love that.
You gotta figure a way to be thrifty.
Yeah.
Right? Props are expensive.
Especially the 90s budget.
Yeah, absolutely. I would also love to give another shout out to Janeway, just because, when communication maybe broke down a little bit and things got a little spicy there for a minute, she was badass. She was pure badass, calling that alien's bluff that, if you want our help, you need to return control of the ship to me, or fine, like, because if I die, you die. So I thought that was a pretty bold, badass move, and I appreciate that.
Kate Mulgrew's acting, especially in that scene in particular, just should have won her an instant Emmy. I mean, she was just, we were talking about Sigourney Weaver earlier being a badass. Well, Kate Mulgrew in this episode, same thing. Is like she was a total badass here, and she's like, give me back my ship, and it's like, yes, and every ounce of her strength, and the last breaths of air out of her lungs is just like screaming, I'm not helping you.
If she had still been in her bun wearing phase, that bun would have been everywhere.
It would have been everywhere.
It would have been askew.
Yeah, so that leads me to another assimilation here, and I felt like the danger in a lot of the situations seemed real. At no point, and I know it's tracked, and I know everybody kind of survives at the end, but while I was watching it, I was able to take myself out a little bit and just sort of be in the moment with the actors and the characters, and I was like, wow, like this is actually kind of a scary episode. So,
yeah.
Nicely done.
And then, like we've talked about as well, is just the overall, the cinematography and the sound design was really well done.
Impeccable. Yeah, impeccable is really good. Yeah. Well, do you got any regenerations for this episode? I know it's going to be tough, but we might be able to find a few things about it.
Well, I mean, it was centered around kids, right? Everybody knows how not big fans of children we are on this show, but again, they're the Borg kids, so they're a bit more mature. They're not as like ridiculously obnoxious. I did love sort of seeing, I guess this is an assimilation then. I did love seeing their personalities come out a little bit and just sort of how they teased each other. That was kind of cute. But overall,
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I just, whatever. It's kids, it's Neelix. But if I'm going, because I'm forever the optimist, I will say they did it nice. So they had where Neelix, bless his soul, willing to be the babysitter, because Lord knows that would not be me. And how they approached two of the more, potentially annoying casts of kids and Neelix, I thought was well enough done that I can enjoy this episode. But yes,
there was no Alexander Rozhenko to spoil things
with his gigantic ass Game Boy. I'm never gonna get over that. It's just so stupid. And poor Ward getting dragged onto the holodeck.
Well, there was one moment that stood out for me as being a regeneration, and maybe you can help me. Actually, I think that if Calvin was here, he'd be able to fix it for me. But Kim Ensign Kim
Mm-hmm.
ordering everybody in there out of the mess hall. Now, to your stations, everyone. I'm like, you are an ensign, and there has to be somebody in that room above ensign grade. And I know he works on the bridge,
Yeah.
but he's still an ensign. I don't know how that structure works, but it just seemed off to me.
The only thing I can think of is actual numbers of years of service. So maybe he's like the captain of the ensign. Because he couldn't
The
be
captain of the
promoted.
ensigns.
The captain of the ensigns. Because, you know, when you're stuck on a ship, there's only so many spaces for promotions.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, we've
so
been over this.
yes, right? So that's why he's still an ensign after 7 years. And this was what, season 6?
Yeah.
So maybe the fact that he technically works on the bridge. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just seen as a figurehead of authority. But you're right. That's really weird because like some lieutenant sitting there and be like, "Excuse you."
Yeah.
Also, if it's a real emergency and he knows what's going on, then maybe it's rank be damned. It's just come on, people, we're gonna die if we stay here. Yeah.
And you know, and this is not to poo-poo Ensign Kim at all. I love the character, and I enjoy watching the character. So I don't want the listeners to think like, oh, like I'm downing on Ensign Kim, because I wish that he would have got promoted. I just felt like he deserved promotion very early on, and then just it got more weird as the series progressed. It's like he saved the ship how many times?
I know.
You know, and there was that whole thing with the Hirogen and the holodeck, and he didn't get a promotion for that. Like, he was the only one left, him and the doctor. I'm like, what?
He also did quite a few stupid things, though.
Wow, so did Paris.
Touche. My question is, speaking of Paris, when Paris got demoted in 30 days, why was Kim not promoted?
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun,
Another
dun.
regeneration.
I mean, I don't know. I think that's something I never totally understood. I'm like, well, there's that vacant lieutenant spot. Why is this not? It's just, so did they just leave it empty until?
It's a placeholder. We know
yeah,
because
they knew that Tom would redeem himself. I don't know. I found that whole storyline very strange, but just sort of my random musings about this now. Why? Yeah. I don't understand. But anyway. And then why did they need to change batteries in the flashlights? Are they not?
Yeah. He was telling a story for like 20, 30 minutes tops. And then all of a sudden, like, he needs to change them. I'm like, wait, come on here. Come on.
Those D batteries don't last very long.
Evidently.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't have one of those, those really old ones that you just spin. And then like.
Right? Or what? He could shake it. He could shake the light.
Oh man.
You would just think there would be something.
Yeah.
It would last a little long. I can't imagine any of the little flashlights on that ship ever just, the power cell is out on. What? The power cell? How long have you been using this thing? Does nobody put it back in its charging spot? What in the heck?
It was like me and my microphones last week. Justin looks at me after and he's like, do you not charge them? I'm like, I charged them 4 weeks ago. He's just like, what? So anyway.
I'm glad they're charged up today because otherwise I'd be screwed.
I just would not have microphones, but I would still make it work.
Yay.
Because it's you. So.
Thank you. Well, now it's time for trivia.
So some visual effects include looking out the view screen as the ship jumps to warp and the replicator replicating the coffee before replicating the mug. The effect of the ship jumping to warp was evidently reused from the Childs.
Interesting little TNG connection there.
I like that. So what's that, season 2, episode 1?
Sure.
I believe. Because that's the first introduction of Pulowski.
Moving on. As part of his meditation guidance, Tuvok tells Neelix to envision your lungs filled with light. Now, Neelix, however, only has the one lung after his original lungs were stolen by the Vidians, another scary episode, and replaced by a donor lung from Kes. Now, that was the first season episode, The Phage. Oh, yeah.
Continuity
Very
error.
scary.
Continuity error. See, I found things on any sort of Vidian episode way more scary than this, but because those dudes were just freaky.
What a cool species. Yeah.
I mean, they're resourceful.
Mm-hmm.
Neelix claims intent to install curtains and even carries the fabric at one point. He has claimed this intent several times, but he has never followed through. I mean, why don't they have automatic shutters? Because don't they have those on the... I thought I saw those at one point on TNG, where you press a button and the like a blind just comes down. So why does he need curtains? It seems a little bit archaic.
Yeah, it definitely is. I don't know. He's thrifty. He had curtains on his ship, I believe, when they found him originally.
Yeah, well, I mean, that ship was a POS, but...
Yeah, it totally was, but so wasn't the pilot/captain. Anyway.
This made me think about that scene on Lower Decks where Boimler gets promoted and he's so excited for his new quarters and they're right by the red part of the nacelle.
Yes.
That was so funny. He could have used curtains.
Or that little thing that comes down.
Or the little thing. But why are those even quarters? I mean, just make that a storage room. That's not inhabitable.
No.
Oh.
Well, this episode is notable for showing some detail of how the turbo lift shafts have horizontal junctions. Yes, and there is Chakotay getting thrown about. They talk about it, how he's thrust about in the turbo lift before he ends up in engineering. And yeah, just that the way that it's described actually by Neelix was pretty scary. And I pictured it in my head.
Yeah.
I love the fact that turbo lifts on the 90s shows were actually like real things that could, be created in life. Whereas I don't know what they were doing with like Discovery giant chasm that's like 14 miles long inside of Discovery. And like, what were they even? No, I've got to poo-poo that again because it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Regenerate.
Kate Mulgrew enjoyed this episode, quote unquote, enormously, even if some of the technobabble elements of the script went over her head. And I mean, I think a lot of the technobabble goes over a lot of people's heads because a lot of it is very, it is based as much as possible in science, as we know. So, the writers and the consultants that they have would understand what's going on, but the actors may not necessarily get it. And that's fair. It's not their job to. They're not scientists. They're actors. So, but again, she killed this episode. She was so good in it, from her annoyance with the coffee all the way through to just being the badass woman that she is at the end. I just love Kate Mulgrew. And anyone who hasn't watched, Orange is the New Black has Kate in it.
Oh, so good.
That show is so good. And her role as Red, holy cow. She's just
eats
amazing.
it up. Well, this episode was nominated for an Emmy Award for Outstanding Special Visual Effects for a series. So, yeah, I mean, it's noticeable. We've talked about it already. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
So, final thoughts.
Kristin, yeah, final thoughts.
So, who do you prefer? So, we've done the Voyager, of course, Haunting of Deck 12, Prodigy, Dreamcatcher, Discovery, Context is for Kings, Voyager, The Thaw, and Strange New Worlds, All Those Who Wander.
Man, there's some really good episodes in there. Geez, I'm trying to think where this ranks among them. I would say, for me personally, I honestly like it's in the top. I don't think it's the top, but it's in the top for actual fear. They did a very good job with this episode. There are, and actually, I was thinking about Context for Kings earlier when I was thinking about the doors sliding, open and close, and they had part of a Klingon trapped. His body part was stuck in there. So there was that, and then the Thaw. That was the one with Kim and the element of fear, right? That had taken over that holodeck program thing, right? Was that the Thaw?
Oh no, the Thaw is isn't it the one where that's where they find the group of people connected in those stasis chambers? Yeah,
but it's like a holodeck because their mind is just occupied in this alternate reality. I did see some pictures from STLV where somebody was dressed as that fear entity and went up to Garrett's table and they got photos together, and I was like, okay, this is perfect. I love it. And let's see. Well, Strange New Worlds, the reintroduction of the Gorn here, bringing them back to Trek in a way that's actually menacing I would say for the first time. I'm always going to give this episode accolades for that, because they took this, what was supposed to be, menacing, sort of T-Rex kind of reptile character in the 50s or 60s, and they actually made it for the first time actually menacing and dreadful, and tying it back to like Alien and Predator and those type of films. There was some real scares that's there, but I would say that maybe this episode gets us almost as close to the top. I got to still give it to all those who wander, Strange New Worlds, but I think this episode is up there as well. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely agree. Strange New Worlds, All Those Who Wander. I love seeing when New Trek sort of reimagines aliens, and I mean, we see it as well when the motion picture reimagines Klingons, and you see them for the first time being much more menacing than they were in the actual original series. So for this, I thought they did an amazing job at reimagining the Gorn to be very, very scary. Because I mean, yes, the episode, I think the arena, right, with where Kirk fights the Gorn, it's not scary.
It's kind of comical.
It is very comical, and I'm like, you could easily outrun this guy. Why are you standing here like building a bomb, MacGyver? Just run away. So I don't know. He's just lumbering there. I'm like, okay.
Lumbering, exactly. That's what I was going to say. He's lumbering. Yes, I say that too.
You could easily outrun this guy. So
so slow moving. The guy couldn't turn his head in that rubber mask. It was all very, weird.
Oh man. So I also thought Michael McKean did such a great job though in The Thaw as that clown. And clowns freak me out. So if we're talking about which episodes actually disturb me so much that I can't watch, I actually sometimes have to skip The Thaw because it just
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
what was it? Was it House of a Thousand? Not House of a Thousand Corpses. Maybe. I think it was a Rob Zombie movie when I watched back in the 90s that just absolutely haunted my dreams. And that episode kind of reminds me of that. So, if we're talking about pure fear and disturbance for me, I would actually have to give it to The Thaw. But All Those Who Wander and Haunting of Dak 12 are also really well done.
The Thaw, we gave this trivia out when we covered the episode, and I'm surprised that I remember it, but it stuck in my head. They actually hired some local performers from Cirque du Soleil to be the background performers. That's why they're doing they're contorting and everything like Cirque du Soleil, because that's their normal job.
There we go. We get the bendy people in there, because that is also something that's freaky. Contortionists, where do your organs go? You're folded into like 5 million ways. Like, what? So anyway, it's very, very impressive altogether.
What shows are on BQN, you ask? Well, here's a rundown of some podcasts you might be interested in. All Good Things, a Star Trek Universe podcast covering all of Trek, hosted by Amy, Mark, Christos, Kelvin, and Kristin. Whether you've got Xbox or Nintendo, check out Bargain Bin Gamer, a YouTube show hosted by Davey, a self-proclaimed gamer who specializes in reviewing and showcasing affordable video games. 2 episodes enter the arena, 1 comes out victorious. Join hosts Joe and Kevin and a guest as they debate which should win the Batleth battle. Grab your popcorn as you listen to Cinema Z, a film discussion and review podcast showcasing films you probably missed but should definitely check out. Hosted by Mark and Matt. Don your apron for The Food Replicator, where Matthew eats and drinks his way through the Star Trek cocktail and 3 cookbooks. Beam Aboard Galaxy Class, a Star Trek Next Generation podcast covering all of TNG, hosted by Steven. In order to not repeat it, listen to History with the Szilagys, a snippet of historical events from around the world, hosted by Chrissy and Jason. For the newest Trek coverage, check out Infinite Diversity, hosted by Chrissy and Thad. Curl up with a good book and delve into Beta Canon with Peter, host of the online Trek Book Club on Twitter, and his new companion, Trek Book Club podcast. Test your Trek knowledge with Trexperts Quiz, a Star Trek quiz show hosted and written by Davey. Whether you're a member of Starfleet Federation or Planetary Union, go check out Union Federation, covering current Star Trek and the Orville, which we all know is really a Trek show, hosted by Kyle, Kevin, Amy, and Haley. Head over to YouTube and watch The View Screen live on Sundays, your Trek-inspired talk show hosted by Kelvin and Amy, with Season 2 starting in September for a 10-week run. Spill the tea with Christos while he discusses current Trek news and events and explores the world of fandom via guest interviews, all with a LGBTQIA+ perspective on What's the Tea Bev. And for our Patreon members, we have The Hive Mind with monthly script readings, Let's Fly, a Discovery reaction show, It's Green, a cornucopia of topics, Amy's Math Moments, a quick look at math moments in Star Trek. We know you have a choice of podcasts to choose from, and we thank you for listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Well, Kristin, what are we going to be talking about next week?
Next week, we are talking about the evolution of a species and the Ferengi.
Have you done one of these episodes before?
I haven't. I have not.
These are one of my favorite episodes that we cover here because it's really like looking back throughout all of Trek, which is what we do here on the show anyway. But we're highlighting a particular alien species and seeing how each iteration of Trek really, developed it and grew it, whether it's the makeup, whether it's backstory, things like that, the creative process behind it. But it's all very fascinating. And so I'm interested to learn more about the Ferengi. We would love to hear what you thought of today's episode and hope you'll join our Facebook group, That BQN Collective, or on Discord to continue the discussion there. You can also reach us at All Good Pod on Bluesky. We are on Bluesky, which is open to everybody now. Follow the network on Bluesky and Instagram at BQN Podcasts. We've also partnered with our friends at the Fandom Podcast, where you can find us by searching their master feed. Links will be found in the show notes. So, Kristin, where can people find you when you are not choking Neelix to death with a bolt of fabric he was going to use for curtains?
There's literally almost no sewing involved. You just cut them and just hang them up. So anyway, you can find me on Instagram at KStrats. Of course, I'm on Facebook through the BQN Collective, and I'm also on Reddit at user Garrick's Fan Club. And Mark, where can people find you when you are not babysitting little Bebe Borg and reading them stories in the dark?
That would not happen. Like ever?
Like ever.
Like ever.
Like ever.
Nope. No, never. Never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna get it.
Woo, 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 woo.
Yes. Okay, we went off on a tangent there. Well, you can find me though in the BQN Collective Facebook group, and you can also find me on Bluesky at MW207, or as I've mentioned a couple of times here already, I do have another show on the network called Cinema Z. I host with my good friend Matt Jennings, and we just talk about some of our favorite films, and we have some cocktails and a lot of fun, and we think that you guys will probably really like it.
If you would like to help us keep all our shows coming to you each week, you can become a patron on the network on Patreon. For just $1 a month, you can join our Let's Fly reaction show, script readings, and enjoy our special patron-only shows of It's Green and Amy's Math Moments. Visit patreon.com/BQN to get all the details and watch your messages.
If for whatever reason you cannot financially support us, you can also support the show by sharing a post on social media, talking about it with your friends, or hitting subscribe on Apple Podcasts or wherever you podcast, and leaving us a star rating and written review, because that helps others to find the show. It definitely does. Reviews. I cannot stress this enough. Leave some reviews, leave some star ratings, as long as they're 5-star. It helps a lot. Thank you.
It does. At this time, we would like to thank our very own associate producers, Mahendran Radhakrishnan and JJ Seastrum. A special thanks to Graham Kelly for our opening and closing music, and Mark White for our artwork.
That's me!
And every week, that's you! I'm excited to see what photo you use for this week's episode.
I didn't have time this week to make it during recording because it's only the two of us, so I will have to do something in the next day.
There we go.
Thank you for listening. We hope you'll all join us as we continue to search out
All good things.